guys, welcome to another installment of Diostar Creations. This is Diostar coming at you from Queens, New York. This particular diorama you have in front of you is the latest one I did. It's not necessarily to showcase the action figures, I just like how they look there. They fit an alley fight. You know, the Bat Clan is always in some dark area having a get down, so I just put those there to give you a size perspective of the diorama and the dioramas I do. Most of the dioramas I do are normally about this size. This particular one is side to side, 24 inches long, 12 inches deep, and at its highest point up here, it's 15 inches. Right here, as you can see, we have Nightwing, the original Dick Grayson. Yes, we have Red Hood, Damian Wayne, we have Batgirl, we have a few Skullbusters. These are my custom action figures. I painted their face, so anything you do to alter, in my opinion, makes it custom. So I painted their faces so they could just be regular goons. And over there at the top, we have Mezco Batman about to get the drop on the Skullbuster at the top. In this particular diorama as well, I have a few examples of the materials I use. And speaking of materials, in this one we have obviously the ever-present pink foam. You can use blue foam, green foam, whatever color you can get it. I have acrylic paint markers for the graffiti, cardboard, which is the corrugated stuff in the back. You have hot glue, X-Acto knives. I used Rust-Oleum. It's called hammered metal. It comes out and it looks like it's wet and, you know, pebbly and thing, but when it dries up, it gives that weathered, hammered metal look that you see on most of the metal, quote unquote, pieces I do, or to replicate that metal look. For the floor over here, before I actually base coated it with black, I spread some glue. I put some glue down, and then I spread it with a putty knife. Got a nice thin film, and then I put masonry sand, very, very fine. And you shake the excess off back onto it. You know, you don't want to waste it. Use it a few more times. And that's how you get that. After I painted it, you seal it, and then you airbrush it. Excuse me. For the gates, these little gates, this one over here and this one up here, it's again, that particular one is the silver one, or chrome, whatever you want to call it. They come in 2, maybe 3 different colors. The metal ones, the plastic ones come in white and beige. But this is basically what it is. If you put a dowel of any shape around it, and you know, you have a little bit of imagination, tie it up and you have a gate. This one you would have to paint it, you know, nickel plated or whatever, unless you want to keep it black, but you might want to put a light background for the contrast in color. You don't want to put something dark on top of something dark. That's just my opinion. Excuse me. Let me see. Yeah, the pallets I did myself. Is just pieces of wood. You glue them down, clamp them together, and that's how that happens. These lights, this is very cool. Let me see if I can get this into the shot. They actually turn on. I got those at Michael's. Ah, there you go. Coolness about it is, after you place them, you can actually move them to wherever you want to move them. They have swivel necks or pivot necks. There's another one underneath Batman over there, underneath the cave, to highlight the steps. When you're doing dioramas and things of that nature, you want to come as close to real life as possible. I personally don't use references. I don't look at a picture because I tend to, I don't know about most diorama makers, I tend to lean towards replicating what I'm looking at. And if I'm looking at somebody else's work, I don't want them to say I'm copying them. I get the idea. You look, because you know, there's millions of images and reference photos. You might come across a diorama maker's idea that you're like, you know what, that looks really cool. But with that being said, I personally try not to replicate anybody's work. I don't do custom work because sometimes the client expects something, and as hard as you may try to please a customer, the end product is not what they envisioned. And then, you know, so what I do is I just make them, I have them, people like them, they offer. If it's cool, we go. If not, I keep them. But again, this is about the hobby, the collection. I'm a giant kid. This is so much fun. My son loves it, actually. He gave me my first comment on this, sorry about that, on this series of videos. My son, he gave me the first comment, and this is another part of why I love this hobby so much. He has his own set of action figures. He knows when he comes down to the to the man cave / studio not to touch mine, because, you know, why be selfish? You know you're gonna have him around. He's a kid. He's gonna want to play with them, buy him his own. Anyway, this is a good way to spend father-son time, and as well as a good excuse for me to play with toys. To be full honestly. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take this camera off of the tripod. I'm gonna give a little close-up of the work. It's gonna shake up for a little bit, so I apologize for that. But this is so you guys can get a view of the detail in the work. And here we go. Oh, on another note, none of the action figures are actually resting against each other. They're posed on their own, balanced. It took a little while. Nightwing keeps falling. His hip joints are very, very loose. That, as you can see, he has to rest on top of him because, you know, whatever. There you go. That phase 1 over there, that's old school graffiti. Let me turn this on. There you go. That's old school graffiti. In the background, Jules, that's my son's name, Julian, if you're watching this. There you go, Pop. The signage and things of that nature are probably a little bit bigger than they should be. But again, this is a guesstimate. I'm not gonna break it down to a 32nd or 64th or 100 and whatever of an inch. Now, the corrugated cardboard. This is the vertical. That's the horizontal. That's the roll down gate. Those are the corrugated sink panels. Marvel and DC, because why not? Let me turn this back off. Thank you guys for watching. If this was of your interest and you want to keep seeing more videos, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button. Thank you. Leave comments, suggestions. Have a good night. Peace.